What's up, everybody? So this is going to be a little mini ramble thoughtcast thingamabob here on this picture from Warhammer Community's article for Codex Space Marines: Your First Look. This picture is a pretty cool picture, and when I saw it, it just smelt of back cover picture for a Codex, and it very well may be, or it may not, but it looks like at least one of the ones they maybe are considering for it. And it shows a lot of neat things. So I want to kind of go over this, be a little discussion ramble, a little thought discussion, mini ramble cast extraordinaire 9000. On this picture, it's the only image you're going to see, so you don't have to pay attention to the video itself. You can put it in the background if you want to, whatever you want. So with that said, firstly, Primaris. That's the main focus of my thought ramble here. And a lot of people have been rolling the rise of Primaris and consistently, and nobody can ever be satisfied because you can't satisfy everybody, and there's a lot of people who just like to whine. But I'm okay with all this Primaris hype, not just because I like them and I plan to purchase and collect them when they eventually become multi-part plastic kits. More on that a little bit later. But because this is really their first official outing, the first official release, if you will. They were the thing that was new with 8th edition for the Imperium, you could say. And while yes, they're in Dark Imperium, yes, we had some easy to build kits, but we haven't had a codex yet because there were no codices at launch. The first one is the Space Marine Codex that's coming. So that would have been traditionally where we would have seen their release, and that's where it's coming. So while we have a lot of information on them, a lot of focus on them, all the stuff is coming like it is because this is their first proper official release, so I'm okay with that. My concern would be in years down the line if all they ever do is broaden the Space Marine arsenal by adding Primaris stuff, then you're basically isolating standard star types by the very act of not giving them anything new or updates. So we'll have to wait and see if that happens. That's going to take years truly to develop, and I don't think GW is going to look at their chief poster child in that way, so I'm not too worried. But yes, more Primaris shenanigans will be talked about here. So firstly, this back cover art isn't just Primaris and the Primarch. There is a few non-Primaris stuff shown because, hey, they still are a thing, and they are still very capable. So we have, of course, the Primarch Guilliman shown, cool model. We have behind him a tactical squad shown, basically. We have between the building and the tower a flyer that's shown. We have a Land Raider in the back right. And next to the statues, we have a Devastator squad, it looks like. So that's all of your non-Primaris stuff. Now we have a big statue, and then we have two models that have been turned to statuette-looking things alongside that, which is why they're painted gray. If you're wondering what's going on there, they're meant to be statuesque things on the terrain, I'm assuming. And with that said, real quick nod to the terrain here in this picture. I really like the color choice and just the setup. Really does look pretty cool. So with that said, aside from the Poxwalkers, everything else is Primaris. So it seems. And we have the Lieutenant in the background by the flyer. We have the Intercessors in the foreground near the Poxwalkers. And next to them we have a Primaris Lieutenant. These three look directly from Dark Imperium. Doesn't mean they're not going to get multi-part plastic kits. I think they will, but these models look like they're from the Dark Imperium, which is fine. They look great. They blend in very nicely. They don't stand out as being poor quality because they're not poor quality, so why not use them? But we have seen them for sure before. Now, with that said, real quick on my thoughts on Primaris kits. We've had a leaked image of what I'm still going to say, River, because I like saying it, even if it might not be the best way to say that word. I'm calling it River because I want to. So anyways, there was a leaked image for a River box, and it showed all of them with the half-mast skull thing, which I don't like that Mad Max look. And if that is true, I'm hoping that there's going to also be helmeted bits as well to give you options for the heads, as there tends to be with Space Marine stuff. But anyways, moving on. That caught me with a bit of surprise, not due to the bits shown or the poses, but due to the model count in that kit. My thought process was this. Primaris will get multi-part plastic kits that are not the easy to build kits. I've always had that thought, and I always believed that. But I felt it would be either 3-man kits, in the case of Inceptors, for example, because they're always shown in 3, and to 5-man kits with the Intercessors and Hellblasters, and I thought the Rivers. My thought for that was the scale, they're specialized, more elite type stuff, something like this typically would get a 5-man kit at most. But if this leaked image is to be believed, the Rivers are shown as a 10-man kit, which would be really kind of surprising for me, to be honest, because they're a specialized unit in a specialized force. I would just think 5-man would be the most, especially considering Assault Marines and Devastators are 5-man kits. So if that's why I kind of am hesitant to 100% say that's the River kit image, but it very well might be, and it might be a 10-man kit, which means Intercessors might be a 10-man kit also. So just wanted to do a little tangent there. And yes, these Intercessors do appear to me, and I could be wrong, but they appear to me to be from the Dark Imperium box set. But I definitely believe we'll get them as a multi-part plastic kit, and I think that kit, whether it's a 5-man kit, a 10-man kit, whatever the case is, I think that kit will have weapon bits in there to represent either the Intercessors or be capable of building Hellblasters, because really the only difference is the weapons they wield, and I think that fits into the GW's kind of strategy for releasing kits. Do a combo kit there would make a lot of sense. I'd be okay with it, so, and I think a lot of players would be too. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the route they go. The size of the kit I originally thought would be 5-man, but who knows? Could be a 10-man now. The Lieutenant I'll get back to in a little bit. So other Primaris stuff we see is the Primaris Librarian model, a cool model which wasn't at my local store. My local gaming store only had the Primaris Captain model, which I bought, and I'll do a video on that a little later. But that model's not in this picture, and the Primaris Librarian is, which I don't have, unfortunately, because it's a cool looking model. Just wasn't in stock at the store. From there, we have the Redemptor Dreadnought, which got its own article showcasing it a bit. A cool model. It's cool to see it. A nice little centerpiece model for sure. And that pretty much wraps up everything we've seen thus far. Now, there are Inceptors, at least I'm still going to call them Inceptors. I'm assuming it's the same squad, just with a squad upgrade as opposed to having their Assault Bolters. But yes, Inceptors without Assault Bolters, some type of plasma weaponry. Really cool. You know, being a Dark Angel fan, I've always liked plasma, so even though I won't feel these things in a Dark Angel force, most likely, I would feel it in a DIY force, and I just like seeing the plasma regardless. So, really cool to see. I'm assuming they're still Inceptors, but the squad either can have Assault Bolters, or you can upgrade everybody in the squad to have whatever these things are. I don't know what they are. Maybe a short-range, more shot version of the Hellblaster, maybe an AoE style of shot. I have no idea, but cool to see nonetheless, and definitely changes the focus of what you would be shooting at, you know, with these these guys in the squad. The Assault Bolter version, you know, is gonna be great for a riffraff, and the Plasma will be great for more elite, more suck-in things for sure. So cool to see some semblance of options going on here. And they're in Gravis armor, of course, and we also see Gravis armor in the case of the Aggressor squad in front of them, another 3-man squad shown. They are called Aggressors, they're in the fluff, they've been in the fluff, so we just haven't seen models for them until now. I like them. I think they look cool. I like Gravis armor's look. It's no Terminator armor. I don't think Primaris will really get Terminator armor yet, anyway. So it's the next best thing in their case, I guess, and I like the look of it. And you know, if Primaris Librarians could take Gravis armor, it'd be an easy kind of kit bash to turn one into a Librarian, but that's just a random tangent there. These Aggressors are cool. They got backpack mounted weaponry and flame gauntlets. Really good fire support and you know, close in horde kill style unit, it seems. I don't know the rules for everything that they have, but that's what they seem to be like. And I'm looking forward to them. They just scream my play style, and I like that. So it'll be cool to see. And probably its own kit. Originally, when I heard about these guys, I knew they would be in Gravis armor. It's in the fluff, and the Gravis armor is of the Inceptor. So I thought maybe they do a weird combo kit of the two, even though one's walking and one's hovering. So I thought maybe they'd be the same kit, but seeing how the legs are for the Inceptors really had me question that, and now seeing different weapon options for the Inceptor makes me definitely think there'll be two separate kits in this department. So, yeah, I really like what I see there. I like them over Centurions. Now, I know Centurions were the hotness of the Space Marine Codex, but model-wise, I did not like them. I don't play that codex, but if I did, I wouldn't use Centurions. I just don't like their look. I still don't. I like the aggressors here, as they're called. Why? Because they look functional. The Centurion models look like they couldn't move. I had no way in my mind's eye and with my imagination of seeing that unit move. I'm sure they can, hence why they're a unit, but just the way the model was set up, it was just way too much, and it just was kind of silly. These guys in Gravis armor, they look the part. They can move, they can shoot, they can be an actual functional mobile artillery infantry thing, and that's great. I like that. I like the look. So, they don't have hulking armor plates everywhere that look like they impede movement. So that's why I like these guys visually, and I like them over the Centurions for sure. Just a little bit of insight there. So, moving on. I mentioned the Lieutenant and the Ancient. Two models that I think could be in the same kit that can build multiple models. And you can either build Lieutenants, or you can build an optional Ancient if you want to, which is just a standard bearer. But we see in this picture an Apothecary, and if you were looking at the pre-order imagery for the Primaris Captain and Librarian, you would have seen the little mini decal sheet you get, and you would have seen the Apothecary listed there. And so you would have known an Apothecary was coming before this image. Now, I don't know how they plan to have the Apothecary be used for Primaris. I don't know if it's going to be an independent character you can attach to a squad or whatnot, or could run around on its own. I've always liked the idea of a more HQ-esque Apothecary, kind of like what the Blood Angels have with their sanguinary priests, something that could run around, be its own thing, and go places, as opposed to being part of the command squad. Which is cool too. I just always liked, I guess, a stronger stat line-wise Apothecary. And we might be getting that with the Primaris, because it's kind of depicted on its own there. But in seeing the model and seeing the Ancient and the Lieutenant here, it really has me thinking that, yes, they could each be their own blisters, but what they could also pull is kind of what they did with the Exalted Sorcerers for the Thousand Suns. You could pull 3 sorcerers from that kit. You can put the bits on basically how you want, and you can give one a disc if you wanted to. Well, in this case, there's no disc, and there's no random mutation bits because these are Imperium, not Chaos. But we do have Lieutenants, an Ancient, and an Apothecary. So I think, it wouldn't take too much to put those 3 combinations in one multi-part plastic kit. Especially for the Ancient and the Lieutenant, because that's really just an arm swap when you think about it. You have an Ancient arm bit, and that's all you really need. You just put that arm on a Lieutenant, and you got yourself an Ancient, essentially, in terms of look. The Apothecary requires more bits, and that's kind of like your disc, if you will, for the Exalted kit. So I think, while yes, they could each be their own little blister pack style of setup, I'm also really leaning towards the concept of them being in one multi-part plastic kit that can make Lieutenants, and if you wish, makes 3 Lieutenants, or you could build an Apothecary and an Ancient and 1 Lieutenant. I think that could definitely happen in a kit. I think it makes sense as a kit, and given the strategy and structure we've seen of kits in the past from GW, I wouldn't put it past them, and I'd be on board for it. So, pretty cool to see the Apothecary. It really helps flesh out the Primaris. The only thing we're lacking is a Tech Marine. I think a Primaris Tech Marine makes all sorts of sense. Maybe there will be one. Maybe it just doesn't have decals. Who knows? But I think, especially for pure Primaris chapters, again, a tangent, but bear with me, it's a mini Ramble cast thought thing here. Real quick, we have Primaris chapters, purely Primaris things. A Tech Marine would be needed there. A Primaris Tech Marine, obviously, because they're all Primaris, it just makes a lot of sense. Just like having an apothecary makes a lot of sense. So who knows? Maybe there's a tech marine in the future. We just haven't seen anything for it yet. But yeah, anyways, just seeing the apothecary and of course the captain and the librarian and the last thing to talk about in this image makes it feel more like having your own chapter of pure Primaris makes sense. Like the structure is there, the infrastructure, if you will, is there. So that's cool. And lastly, I saved my personal favorite for last because it's my favorite HQ choice, basically. There's a Primaris chaplain in this picture, right next to the apothecary, in all of his awesome glory. I like the halo thing that looks like it's angled to hang over his head like that. It reminds me of Imperius from Diablo 3, and I'm A-okay with that. His scepter, Crozius Arcanum rod thing there does look different. I'll be curious to see if it's still just a Crozius Arcanum or for something different for our Primaris chaplain. And the posing is great. He's got robes. He has all the right cues, in my opinion, for being an awesome looking chaplain. I'm a big chaplain fan of Space Marine HQ stuff, so that was also listed on that decal sheet alongside the apothecary. So when I saw that, I was like, great, chaplain's basically confirmed for Primaris. It'd be really cool to see a model, and here it is. And it's kind of funny that the apothecary and the chaplain are kind of just here with no real fanfare in this picture. Maybe they'll get more stuff in an article to come. There's going to be, preview articles all the way to the pre-order of this codex, which hasn't happened yet. And then after that, there'll probably be more article stuff hyping them up for the release of the codex. And I would have to imagine the chaplain and the apothecary will be shown somewhere therein. So that's my thought there in terms of what we'll see when we'll get more information. But I really like this chaplain model. You can bet for sure that I will be getting it when it comes out. Hopefully, the local gaming store will have it in stock. They've been odd as of late with 8th edition stuff for 40k. Haven't really had it right away. They usually get it later on. So when I went the release day for 8th edition, they had nothing for it. Nothing. I don't think it's because they sold out. I don't think they just had anything for it. So when it came to the librarian and the captain and of course the other stuff that were released at the same time, I went after the fact, like a week or so after the fact, and they had stuff but not everything. So I don't know what's going on there, just as a random side note, but I will definitely be getting that chaplain model. So that's my thoughts there on what we see. My concerns, like I mentioned, I just don't want, as the years to come, standard Star Taste to basically just be that thing in the corner over there you could buy if you want. I don't think they will because it is their poster child. I will say, though, I am digging Primaris. That will be my DIY force. It's going to be a pure Primaris thing. I have an idea for them. And it just involves me going third party for some shoulder pads because, real quick, assuming they're going to stick with what they said, and it looks like they are based on what I've seen, the helmets and the shoulder pads are going to be of the same scale as standard Space Marine stuff. Now, Gravis armored things, shoulder pad wise, I think will be as well, although some of them have a different look to them. I think if you put a standard shoulder pad on there, it would look okay. I don't know because we don't have any of that to go on yet. All the Gravis stuff we have from Dark Imperium has it molded onto the arm, so that's why I haven't picked any of that up. But just want to point it out, the helmet and the shoulder pads are going to be in the scale that is compatible with regular Space Marine stuff. If you want chapter-specific shoulder pads or chapter-specific helmets on any of the stuff when it becomes a multi-part plastic kit, you can do so. So I just want to point that out. Anyways, that's it. I like this image. I'm looking forward to the Space Marine Codex. I'm guessing, and then maybe I'll make it a bit clearer as time goes on, that every Imperial Space Marine force that will have Primaris, so everything but Grey Knights, and I guess Death Watch, so Dark Angels, Blood Angels, Space Wolves, will have all the Primaris stuff therein for their chapter, which could mean potential specific unique things for a chapter, or more realistically, it could mean things being omitted. So we'll have to really wait and see on that one when it happens and when more information comes out. So Anyways, that's really it. Thanks for sticking through this weird mini Ramblecast thought ramble extraordinaire thing on this image. It's just a cool picture. Wouldn't be surprised to find it on the back of the codex at all. And all in all, looking forward to more information coming out and the release and the kits finally. I have to say, it seems like they're doing what I thought they would do, which is kind of holding back on actual full-on kits for the Primaris. Easy to build kits are a different beast, so that's whatever. But as full-blown kit stuff, it seems like they've been holding back to slowly release it, really slowly in this case, because only the captain and the librarian. But it seems like they've been holding it back to coincide with the codex release. So I wouldn't be surprised when the codex goes up for pre-order, a whole bunch of Primaris stuff goes up for pre-order. I don't know if all of it will. Part of me says, well, if it's going to have rules, you might as well put it all up at once. Or if they're going to have most of it or half of it, let's say, go with the codex for pre-order, and then when that all comes out, another wave of pre-orders for the rest of it. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for sticking through it. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, take it easy.